My name is Emma. I am 36 years old. I work as an economics professor at a large university. Most people think I have a good life. I have a stable career, a comfortable apartment, and a respected position. But there was one thing missing. My life had become predictable. Every day felt almost the same. I woke up early. I taught my classes. I graded assignments. Then I returned home to a quiet apartment. The silence never bothered me at first. Over time, though, it started to feel heavier. Sometimes I wondered if I was missing something important. At the beginning of the fall semester, a new student joined one of my classes. His name was Ethan. He was 19 years old. Unlike many students, he seemed genuinely interested in learning. He always sat near the front. He asked thoughtful questions. He stayed after class to discuss ideas. At first, I appreciated his enthusiasm. Then I started noticing something unusual. Whenever I looked around the room, his eyes seemed to find mine. There was a confidence in the way he looked at me. It wasn't disrespectful. It was simply different. One afternoon, after class, he complimented my lecture. The next week, he complimented my presentation style. Then he complimented my smile. That was when I became uncomfortable. I reminded myself that he was my student. Professional boundaries existed for a reason. Whenever conversations drifted away from academics, I redirected them. I focused on work. I focused on responsibilities. Still, I couldn't ignore the feeling that something was changing. As the semester continued, my workload became exhausting. Research projects piled up. Meetings filled my calendar. I desperately needed a break. When winter vacation finally arrived, I booked a trip to a coastal resort several hours away. I wanted nothing more than sunshine, ocean air, and complete peace. For the first few days, everything was perfect. I spent mornings reading near the beach. Afternoons were filled with long walks by the water. For the first time in months, I felt relaxed. Then something unexpected happened. One evening, while sitting at a small cafe overlooking the ocean, I heard someone call my name. I turned around. My heart nearly stopped. Standing there was Ethan. Neither of us could believe it. Out of all the places in the world, we had chosen the same vacation destination. We laughed about the coincidence. We exchanged a few words. Then we went our separate ways. The next day, however, we met again. This time we talked longer. The conversation felt natural. There were no classrooms. No grades. No university rules hanging over us. Just two people talking. The following days brought more conversations. We talked about music. We talked about travel. We talked about dreams and fears. I discovered sides of him I had never seen in class. He seemed mature. Thoughtful. Funny. I found myself looking forward to seeing him. That realization scared me. I knew the situation was dangerous. No matter where we were, he was still my student. I kept reminding myself of that fact. But emotions are not always logical. On the final evening of my vacation, we walked along the shoreline. The sky was painted with stars. The waves moved gently across the sand. For several minutes neither of us spoke. Then Ethan stopped walking. He looked directly at me. His expression was serious. He admitted that he had liked me since the first week of class. The words hit me harder than I expected. Part of me wanted to walk away immediately. Another part wanted to stay. I said nothing. The silence between us seemed endless. Eventually we returned to our hotels. The next morning, we both traveled home. Back at the university, everything changed. Ethan became distant. He avoided eye contact. He stopped staying after class. He never replied to messages. I was confused. The person I met during vacation seemed to have disappeared. Days turned into weeks. His behavior became colder. I couldn't understand why. Then one afternoon, I accidentally overheard a conversation near the student center. Several students were laughing. Among them was Ethan. At first I paid little attention. Then I heard my name. I stopped walking. One of his friends asked if he had really managed to get close to the professor everyone admired. The group laughed. Ethan smiled awkwardly. My stomach tightened. His friend continued talking. Apparently, months earlier, they had made a challenge. A stupid challenge. They doubted he could ever gain my attention. At first, Ethan accepted simply to prove them wrong. Hearing those words felt like a punch to the chest. I stood frozen. The world around me seemed to disappear. Then something unexpected happened. Ethan's smile vanished. He told his friends they were wrong about what happened next. He admitted the challenge had started as a joke. But somewhere along the way, his feelings became real. His friends laughed at him. They thought he was lying. He argued with them. For the first time, he looked genuinely angry. I quietly walked away before anyone noticed me. That evening, there was a knock on my office door. It was Ethan. He looked nervous. More nervous than I had ever seen him. He apologized. Not once. Not twice. Many times. He explained everything. The challenge. The pressure from his friends. The regret he felt afterward. He admitted he had been ashamed. That was why he avoided me. He thought facing me would only make things worse. I listened carefully. When he finished, the room became silent. I could see that he meant every word. But trust is fragile. Once broken, it rarely returns unchanged. I told him that some mistakes carry consequences. Not because people are cruel, but because actions matter. He nodded slowly. There was sadness in his eyes. Perhaps disappointment too. Before leaving, he thanked me for listening. Then he walked away. I never saw him again after that semester ended. Life eventually returned to normal. The lectures continued. The research continued. The quiet apartment remained the same. Yet the experience stayed with me. It taught me something important. Attention is not always affection. Charm is not always honesty. And trust, once lost, is one of the hardest things to rebuild. Sometimes the most valuable lessons are not found in textbooks. Sometimes they arrive unexpectedly, disguised as mistakes. And those lessons remain with us long after the story ends.